What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my Top 5 Sundays. This week, my Top 5 Sundays is brought to you by Joe on Command, who gave me this suggestion of doing my Top 5 nostalgic games. Now, what I consider for nostalgic games is anything pretty much before the Nintendo 64. So, Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo, like Sega and all those other consoles before that. I consider that for nostalgic games. I don't consider N64 for nostalgic game because I feel like that was within the last 15 years, so I don't consider that nostalgic, quote unquote, yet. And another qualification for this list is that I only have one game per franchise. So you're only going to see one Mario game, one Zelda game, so on and so forth for that. But I also would like to do an honorable mention right now for a game because I wanted to get one game outside the Nintendo sphere, and I just couldn't bring myself to put it in the top 5 because I had other games that I liked more. But this one is a game from Sega. It's called Shining Force, and I wanted to include this one because I played this game a crap ton when I was a kid. I actually didn't play it for Sega, though. I played it on the computer. I had a computer disc that had a bunch of the Sega collection or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I played a crapload out of that game, and I loved it for the RPG stuff, and I played that game probably 2 or 3 times all the way through. So I just wanted to include Shining Force on this list before I actually got started into my top 5, but I have a good top 5, I feel like, for nostalgic games, so here we go. Number 5, Legend of Zelda. And I chose this Legend of Zelda because it's the first one, it's the one that I recognize Zelda for back in nostalgia's sake. And I really enjoy this game too. I actually used to own the gold cartridge for the NES, but then one of my friends bought that from me after I'd gotten the GameCube disc that included 4 different Zelda games. That included the first one, the second one, Link's Adventure, and it also had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. It's one of those collection special edition things, but I included Legend of Zelda because it's like a trademark game that really brought out the NES to what it was. It was released, I believe, in '85, don't quote me on that, but I did not play the game. I did not beat it really until probably 2000 and I'm gonna go 10 when I got the Game Boy disc, or not the Game Boy disc, the GameCube disc. My bad there, but that's the first time I really played it through the whole way because I played it when I was a kid, when I was like 5 or 6 or something like that. But I never could get all the way through because it's a really difficult game. It gives you no real map, no real direction where to go. It's really a groundbreaking game, and basically they designed it on the premise that people would figure out what to do, and then they would share their knowledge with everybody else about how to get through stuff. But I found it just a really interesting game, and it is the groundbreaking game that made Zelda what Zelda is because it's the first Zelda. So that is my number 5. Number 4, Tecmo Super Bowl III Final Edition. This game is from the Super NES, and I remember getting this game for Christmas one year back when I was a kid, and I absolutely love the Tecmo Super Bowl franchise. I own the first Tecmo Super Bowl for the NES. I own Tecmo Super Bowl III Final Edition for the Super NES, and it's a fantastic game. You can go back to the early 90s and play through with those guys. My favorite team in the 90s was the Detroit Lions. I'm now a Titans fan, as you probably should all know based off my name, but when I was in the 90s, my favorite team was the Detroit Lions because of Barry Sanders, and I love going back and being able to play that game as Barry Sanders, and whenever I'm on defense, I would play as Chris Spielman, who's a linebacker back in the day. And Tecmo Super Bowl was great because you could also, or Tecmo Super Bowl 3 I should say, was great because you could also create your own players, and then as you play through games, their skills increase, or they get points, and then you can increase their skills based off the points, and you can put the points wherever you want to. You can create your entirely own team with maybe like your friends' names. That's what I did when I was a kid. I got all my friends' names and put them in the positions where they should be and such like that. So that was always fun to do when I was a kid. But I just love it for the game mechanics and just the silliness of the game, because Tecmo Super Bowl isn't like a game that you'd consider now, but that is one of the classic games that everyone just loves, and I still love to play it. So that is my number 4. Number 3, Mega Man X. Mega Man X is for the Super NES. I remember playing this game when I was a kid. I do own it, and it is just a great game. It's probably my first Mega Man game that I played, I believe, when I was a kid. I never really played any of the NES Mega Mans before I played Mega Man X, and Mega Man X is just always stuck in my mind as my favorite Mega Man game, because it starts you off on that bridge level where you're just shooting through, and it doesn't give you any directions of what to do, and you just start off, shooting your blaster, and then you figure out, if you charge it, it shoots off a more powerful blast. Then you get to the end of the level and you're fighting that guy, and you're like, okay, how do I beat this guy? How do I beat this guy? And then you lose, and then you get saved, and then you get transported into the world, and you can pick whatever robot you want to go up against, and it's just fantastic, because then you get upgrades, and the best I feel like the best thing about it is because the first robot that I always went up against was Chill Penguin, and I just find Chill Penguin just funny. I remember seeing a video recently about Chill Penguin being quote-unquote chill and, like a stoner or something. It's just funny to me, but I always liked Mega Man X. I love the combat of it. I love how you progress through the games and getting upgrades. I know you do that in all the other games, but Mega Man X was the first one that I played out of the Mega Man genre, and I just have always loved it, and I've played it through probably at least 5 times. So that is my number 3. Number 2, Mike Tyson's Punchout. This is for the NES, and I've always loved Mike Tyson's Punchout. It's always a great game with Little Mac and Doc, and then with all the other characters in it, it just made it a really great game. And with Little Mac playing through it, you're just the underdog, and I just love that he's like 4'0" going up against these boxers where they're all tall guys, and you have to jump up in order to punch them, and they have the special way of beating them, because it's not like an actual boxing game where you have an actual strategy of how to take down somebody and you do it the same way every time. No, it's every character has its own special sequences where you have to figure out what their punches are and what throws and what punches you have to throw. It's more of a strategy game than a boxing game, really, and you just have to figure out what everyone's doing, and once you figure that out, the game just clicks. And it's just great with the inclusion of Mike Tyson. It's just kind of funny. I don't like Punch-Out when it's Mr. Dream. That's not, to me, that's not really the NES version of the Punch-Out. And I played through the Wii Punch-Out, which was a great game as well. And then I like that they have the secondary mode. After you beat the whole thing, you play through it again, and it's tougher because the characters figure out, oh, this is my weakness, and they try to cover up those weaknesses with, say, a manhole cover for King Hippo. And all the characters have their own personality, which just makes them that much better, because everyone who's played through Punch-Out knows those characters, and it's like, that's the guy, that's what he does, and it's just a fantastic game, and I love it. So that is my number 2. Number 1, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, and this is for Super Nintendo, and I love this. It's my favorite game from before the NES, and I actually was hoping I'd be able to play it for the Let's Play that I'm doing right now, but you guys voted for Uncharted. But that's alright, hopefully I'll do it sometime in the future too. It's not going anywhere. But the Super Mario RPG Legends of Seven Stars is what came out with the Paper Mario games. And I actually played Paper Mario by looking at the description of it in the Wii Virtual Console, and it said it's the spiritual successor to Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. I was like, yes, I must play this. I must play this. I love Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. I love the turn-based combat of it. I love Mallow. I love Geno. I love that you can actually play with Bowser as one of your guys in your game, because he's always, the villain in it instead, and Peach was on your team as well. But it was just awesome because it's like the animation of it made it really unique too, because it was like Mario was sort of like in claymation. That's sort of, I feel like the animation of the game was sort of like claymation. It made Mario 3D, when in all the other games really up to that point he was the two-dimensional side-scrolling plumber that we know him as today. And this is the first game where he's not platforming and doing all that stuff Mario's known for. He's fighting using his fists and jumping on characters like he's known to do, and shooting fireballs. And then you got his teammates that he goes with Mallow and Geno, and those are just iconic characters that really haven't been used since that game, and everyone's clamoring for him because everyone loves Super Mario RPG so much. And it's easily my favorite nostalgic game, and I've played through it multiple times because it's such a great game. If you haven't played it yet, you should. I'm sure it's on the Virtual Console for the Wii, so go now, go get it. Wait to the end of the video, then go buy it. But that is my top 5 for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week I am doing the top 5, promoting it alongside a game that is coming out that week as well, so look for that. Maybe you can take a guess. It's a game that is coming out in the US on the 31st, so maybe that will give you a hint as what I will be doing. But I could use some more top 5 ideas, and I can also use some people to review as well, so if you want to stop by that playlist, go for it. So that is all I have for this week. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.